You want chit chat? You want to get the intro out of the way? What do you want?
Should I do the intro?
Yeah, let's get the intro out of the way. I hate doing the intro.
Hey, welcome to House Business, the podcast where we give you business ideas on the house. I'm your host, Nicole.
And I'm your host, Mark.
And each week, we're going to give you a business idea, and we're going to discuss that idea, some of the considerations needed to make it happen, look at what's good, maybe bad. And the best part is these ideas are yours.
And this week I'm presenting, and my quick teaser for this week is a Gym for Introverts.
This right here feel like money. This right here feel like money. Ooh. Money moves. Ooh. Money moves. Ooh. This right here feel like money. This right here feel like money. Ooh.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, how are you? It's good to see you.
Yeah, long time no see. How have you been?
I've been good. It's been busy week, like winding down the school year and just everything that comes with the month of May. But yeah, things have been good. What about for you?
Yeah, it was pretty uneventful. I mean, not too much happened. I just went to Ireland and came back. So, casual.
The long-awaited Ireland trip. So you made it back.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I went with my high school best friend, Will. Shout out, Will.
Hey, Will.
We've been friends forever. And he's a big traveler. And I was like, we've done a trip before. So we're just like, let's go check out Ireland and maybe London for the weekend and just see how it goes. And it was the best time. It was the best time. So if you ever get a chance to go to Ireland, the people are amazing. They're so nice.
I love it.
I've got a million gajillion stories. So
what was your favorite thing that you did in Ireland?
Okay, so we actually went to what border collie dogs do, right? What they're supposed to do, like they herd sheep.
Okay.
So
not just like the house pets, but
right, exactly. That's kind of
okay.
Yes. We went to like a sheepdog demonstration where they had the dogs like in a field herding sheep in front of us, and we got to hear the shepherd. They have shepherds over there. Didn't know that.
Whoa.
And we just watched these dogs like run at full speed. And these things are small. I mean, they're like, I don't think they're more than 30 pounds. They're small animals, and
cool.
they're running around the sheep and they're listening to the guy. And it was so surreal. Very cool.
I don't think I realized like shepherds were necessarily still a real thing either. Yeah. But as you're saying this, like this makes complete and total sense. When you say you went to like a demonstration, was it just you and Will, or was this like a touristy, like kind of like a excursion or gathering that you got to do?
Yeah, they had both that we could have went to, but the one we went to, it's a working farm, so they do like actually shepherd like huge swaths of sheep.
That's awesome.
And they had like 15, I think it was like 15 dogs, and each dog can like herd 50 sheep or something crazy. So they're like, it's a real operation, but they have like a small subset for like tourists to like see how it actually works, and they have a little training course. It was amazing to see because we're so used to just kind of normal house dogs here, and we go over there and it's like actually they do something very important for us and stuff. So, that was definitely one of the coolest. It's a surreal experience to watch them do it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And so how many like cities and stuff did you go to in Ireland? Did you do the full coast kind of like you were planning to do, or how far did you guys make it?
We went right to Galway, which some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. We did Celtic dancing there. Shout out Martha.
I'm going to need some photos of you Celtic dancing. Okay.
It was so fun. And then we kind of went down the West Coast and stopped at some of the smaller towns, and we ended in Killarney. Yeah, just the coast was beautiful. They have these huge rolling mountains and valleys, and the cliffs like go right up to the ocean.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was super, super cool. I would go back. The Guinness was...
I was going to say, how's the drinks? How's the cocktails?
The Guinness, when people hype up the Guinness in Ireland, it is 100% warranted. It doesn't taste like it does here at all, and you just drink it like water, or I drank it like water, I should say.
Have you compared it to any Guinness back home, like since you've been back?
Oh, it's so funny you say that, Nicole, because I actually have a Guinness right here, and this is what I'm drinking today.
I love it.
Guinness.
I love it.
This podcast is hopefully sponsored by Guinness. Shout out Guinness. Just in general.
I think now you're like, this is all I drink now is I am Irish and I drink Guinness.
It does. It tastes better over there. I don't know what to, But yeah, anyways, it was so beautiful. The countryside was so beautiful. We went in Killarney. We made a bunch of friends. And then we went to this really, really cool club called the Grand. Shout out the
Shout out the
Grand.
Grand.
Shout out the Grand. And these people were so nice that I kept saying, like, we'll buy you drink. Like, thanks for bringing us around and hanging out with
Love
us.
it.
And they were like, what they kept saying was, it costs nothing to be nice.
I love that.
I know.
That's like so just great. So Iowa nice.
And I was
Ireland
like,
nice, we can say.
it was so like refreshing and just like a cool cultural difference. So it was awesome. And then we went to London for the weekend, and I'm still recovering. I'm still recovering from that. So
you did let me know you went to Les Mis, which I was super jealous. How was that?
It was
amazing.
I was a little bit disconnected while I was out there, so I didn't get a chance to tell you a lot about it. But the Les Mis
is great.
It was amazing. It was amazing, and it was like it's the same Les Mis that you would have seen on Broadway here, but everybody's British, so
right?
They all got accents.
And I mean, it's still like big Broadway type production, just in London.
Yeah.
So that's
exactly.
amazing.
It was so much fun, I'm happy to be back. Happy to get a little rest, a little R&R, back to myself. So
planning your next trip, planning your next vacation now that you're back. So you can go wherever you want. So
maybe I go right back. Who knows?
Go right back. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm drinking Aperol Spritz today. I'm still on my Spritz because it's summer almost. Tomorrow's the last day of school, so you got to love that.
Summertime.
And then I'm going to Key West, Florida. So I'm pretty happy and pretty excited. So there you go.
Love it. Are we, can we do a quick cheers, Nicole?
Yeah, we should.
Cheers to the summer.
Cheers to summer and Ireland and being back.
Love it. So, Nicole, as I'm talking about all these people we met in Ireland, while I was there, I had a thought. And it was sort of prompted by, like I said, those people the people from Killarney that I met who were so nice and so open to talking to people. So I was thinking that, this is talking to people it can be a hard skill to cultivate and to practice, especially not for you, obviously, but for a lot of people, it can be difficult. And for me, it can be difficult as well. So what I realized was just getting practice with talking to just people all over the world and in different settings was a nice confidence builder and also a good skill to kind of learn. So I had an idea.
Okay.
And with that in mind, I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
When you go to the gym,
you
work, you lift weights and you lift things that are probably heavier than what you would do in a normal day-to-day setting. What is something else that people would like to work on? Similar to the gym, there should be a way to train how you communicate with other people. So the idea is a gym with the sole purpose of training you to talk to people in lots of different situations, real life scenario. So the pitch for the idea is I can talk to anyone.
Okay.
That's the gym. So
yeah,
that's the pitch. That's what
that's the pitch.
Yes.
Brought to you from Killarney, Ireland. I like
brought
this.
to you from Killarney, Ireland. Yes. Yep. So let me give you a little spin of it as I was kind of working through it. And it was sort of an idea that just kind of just grew, because like I said, when you go to the gym, you're lifting weights that you're not going to lift in your everyday life necessarily.
Right.
But it's the point of it is to make you stronger, healthier, and to be able to kind of tackle obstacles in your day to life that is not as hard. So I was thinking, if somebody is it's hard for them to talk to new people, and lots of people are like that. I know I'm like that at times. I was wondering if there could be a place, maybe a safe place or just kind of an intentional place to practice being in these situations, and maybe in these simulated situations that, you can practice harder social events where it's sort of under regimented conditions, so you can get better at it when you go out in the world.
Okay.
And so that's where the gym kind of spawned from. And I've got a lot of like little add-on pieces that just kind of kept coming. But yeah, that's kind of the basic premise. So do you want me I can keep going, or if you have questions?
No, I love this. I love that you're comparing this for one to a gym, that it's like the idea of lifting heavier and heavier to get stronger and to, eventually improve on a skill set. So I think it's a great comparison. I do have questions, but explain more. I need a little bit more on like, where is this happening and how. I need more specifics.
Totally. So I was talking about the online courses as the competitive alternative that is out there. There's lots of people kind of coaching these courses and trying to do that. This, I would say, is sort of an alternative that I would argue is more effective for a few reasons. But the primary benefit of this would be to actually feel your body's physiological response to the anxiety and fear that could come up when you're talking to somebody completely new, as opposed to an online course that is sort of separated and disconnected from kind of the human to human aspect of it. So that it might seem like maybe a small distinction, but I think that makes a really big difference, because if you're practicing giving a speech, it's way harder to do it in front of other people than it is to do in front of a screen. And I think that's a universal thing. Right?
Yep.
I was thinking about how do you do this? And, a couple things come to mind. There's a couple different ways you could do it, but I like the concept of, if you want to get better at negotiation, there's a negotiation class, or, a small, think of it more like an improv class is kind of how I'm envisioning it. And you've got maybe you hire some actors to play, people in specific roles so that you can get better in those situations and sort of improv on the fly, because these regimented courses don't really allow for that. And if you're talking person to person, then you're actually thinking on your feet, and you have to feel your body and kind of how you're responding. So that was one component, the actors component. So there's a couple things that you might need here. But the big one would be, there are real communication coaches out there, and they do it sort of on a one-on-one scale. And why I think of like gym as a really good analogy is that you can hire them as personal trainers, as if the personal trainers are experts in fitness, and they can walk you through the techniques and what you did wrong, but it's an on-the-fly thing. If you had, a coach looking at you through the screen, they wouldn't necessarily catch everything. So yeah, there's a couple little other pieces to it I think we're probably going to end up getting to, but that's kind of the point of it, is to get in person and to get real experience to combat that. And the only reason I brought up the comparison to Ireland is I had gotten a lot of practice. Will is very, very good at talking to people, and I can be a little bit awkward sometimes. So it was good to get like practice and think on your feet and sweat if you have to because you're nervous and whatever.
Yeah.
But like talking to people, approaching people can be difficult. So, and I know that is the same way for a lot of people.
I have so many things I don't know where to start. So one, I think this is a common theme now of our episodes, that you think you're awkward approaching people, and I don't think you are at all. So I'm like, I think it's so funny that we're like, okay, let's break this down. But so first question I had, which I think you already answered, but I just want to clarify. So you picture this as in person, like this is an in-person gym class, if you will. Okay. And you picture this in a group setting with the potential for one-on-one extra coaching.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if someone's going to take this idea, which of course we want you to, because I think there's some good stuff here. I think it's a good idea. So if you would start in like one location, or kind of like potential, the way I'm hearing this is it's probably a franchised opportunity that could be in multiple locations. And maybe that's jumping ahead. Okay. I think this is a really great concept, and I think it's a good idea. I agree with you. As someone, I have my bachelor's in communication studies, and like we've talked about, master's in science law, a lot of communication classes and media training. So I do like that you pointed out that this is different than, going to a specific class like that, because I think so many times when you're in a class, it's very directed towards like your professional life, which is just such a small part of like you as a whole person. And so one comparison I can make for myself even is I've received a lot of training. And even like when we started this podcast, one of the feedback items we joked about was people saying, Nicole needs to relax a little bit. Because I think in these types of communication classes, you're trained to, smile, sit up, do all the things, but that doesn't necessarily translate to networking, meeting people in a bar, or being comfortable around others. So I do like this idea. I like where this is going.
Yeah, I think, and again, it's kind of, it's right up the alley of a lot of kind of networking events that you do for House of Heidi, where people might be uncomfortable to do that, and it is great to get experience on the fly. But let's say someone is uncomfortable to even jump into a socialization event, a social event like that, where where even the purpose of it is to network. There are people
Hmm.
that have that barrier to entry already and might say, I think about this too much. I want to have some tools walking in of like, what kind of questions? How do I start a conversation? I mean, sometimes even starting a conversation is hard on its own. And for somebody who might have some sort of social anxiety, or that's who I envision this helping.
So this is really interesting because with House of Heidi,
Yeah.
I receive feedback all the time. And I think where, we've mentioned it being hard for introverts, I've gotten a lot of feedback that sometimes people that I think of as very extroverted will struggle to come to the events. And, I've received feedback from people that, they, in really big positions, if you will, professionally, that feel like they don't know how to connect or make friends in a social situation.
Mm-hmm.
I had a House of Heidi event actually that I saw two women walk into, and usually, for myself, a lot of the times I'm going up and greeting people, and these are in public spaces. So we're not closing a bar down. So it can be a little awkward for me, even being social, of being like, hey, are you here for the House of Heidi event? Or like, are you just here for a normal Thursday night?
Yep.
But there were two women one time that kept to themselves, and I didn't approach them. I actually knew who they were. So I thought they were having a business meeting, and later came to find out that they had a hard time coming over to the group that was just a few feet away, even though they knew people, and because they didn't feel welcome. So I think this point you're making is, it's really a spectrum of, so many people feel this way in social settings. And I think that's why it's important to maybe differentiate from the networking, because again, these are individuals that have really great external facing jobs that you would just be shocked to even hear struggle with it.
Totally. I think being able to make a friend through a conversation alone is a good skill. And like you said, in that situation, like that would be a hard social situation to kind of push through. And if maybe they had some tools to say like, actually, it's okay that I'm here. It's okay that I walk up to them. It's okay. Whatever happens, I can handle it. You know what I mean? So, and it, may have helped that situation a little bit more, but that's a really good, I like that example. And I thought of maybe there's a space where you can sort of, that's curated and specifically with the intention to train you, just like a gym would train you. So
one thing you said that I want to go back to and focus on is you said a couple times for them to feel like their body's reaction to the nerves, which I think is so important. There's this really great kind of quote that's been like floating along social media right now. And I actually tell it to my kids of like, when you have, you get nervous and you kind of start shaking before a big event, or your stomach starts tightening. I try to tell them it's like their inner applause actually getting them excited and telling them it's time to go. And even being someone, trained in speaking or negotiation, like we have been, it still does not get easier. And so I think the body's reaction is always very interesting part. Do you have any thoughts on how you would kind of approach that? Like, is that something you would, I guess my mind went to like, are these people getting hooked up with similar to when I go to the gym? I am a member at Orange Theory and I wear a heart rate monitor to see my progress. Like, are they maybe getting a heart rate monitor or getting something else that can show them like, hey, this is a normal response. You're okay. Like it's going to come back down. Or what do you think about that?
No, and heart rate, actually, that was in my notes of things to talk about. But great point of how do you measure that? How do I know I'm feeling more comfortable? My heart rate's still going crazy. I can still feel the panic in my chest or whatever. So a heart rate monitor is definitely one. I mean, you could even probably, if you wanted to, you could maybe even take it a step farther and have they put up electrodes all over your body. I don't know anything about that. but there are ways to test your physiological response other than sort of intuitively. I think intuitively you start to get maybe a little bit better, at least a little more in tune with your body. But yeah, no, that's a great point. There's got to be a way to sort of measure it if you want to do it scientifically. I was maybe thinking even less so scientifically and more so from a personal confidence perspective. If this takes off, that would be something that, like, I talked to 20 people in 5 minutes and my heart rate only jumped 10%,
Yeah.
just like anything else, my VO2 max or whatever. But yeah, no, the parallels between the two was really what got me excited about the idea, because there's a lot of things that the gym that you would track at the gym that, are good metrics of seeing your success. And there's not a lot of things out there, I think, that are really good measurements of improvement to your kind of psyche and your character, other than sort of real world results, which can vary depending on the situation. So
yeah, I think that's interesting. I think I'm going to go back to my Orange Theory analogy, and also shout out Orange Theory. We'll take you as a sponsor. I'm a member. But I think there's something about when your heart rate is being measured there. Not only am I as a participant focused on what that's doing, but there's something about that group setting where you can see, oh, everybody else is in this with me, or I can push harder because other people are there. And so I think, for one, when you talked about initially the group setting of this training, that might be a really interesting takeaway to show people, like, you are not the only one having some of these reactions. And also, if these are also people coming in who are afraid to share, it's naturally just something that, again, whatever metric that is kind of showing on a screen, which I always think is kind of fascinating. And so that's kind of where my mind went to with the group. I also then was thinking of your personal training and the concept kind of making me smile of, like, having a personal trainer, which whoever starts this idea, if you would like someone to hire for this position, I think I'd be open for it, or Will, again, our friend.
You both would be great.
Would be great. But the thought of, like, going to a bar with someone and, like, you kind of talked about that practice of helping them start these conversations and what that looks like to really get them going and being more comfortable. So I guess any other thoughts on the personal trainer concept, which I think is kind of good.
I think I want to tell you a little bit about the inspiration, because it kind of goes to what about the actual specifically having a singular personal trainer to it. You and I took a negotiations class in our master's degree, and there's been a lot of parallels with the things we learned in that class and things you can sort of apply to your personal life and negotiation and specifically. So that was one of the inspirations. And then the other one, Will is very, very good at talking to people, and he's very good at, kind of understanding the anxiety that comes with it and pushing on anyways. And I've learned a lot from him in a million ways, but this is one of them. I know it's funny hearing it because you see me talk to people all the time, but it does happen to me quite often where I sort of have to kind of prep up and just push on through. But whenever we're out, you're always good at talking to people. So
I was going to say, I have seen you push on through as well too. So I think that's good. So the concept, this is a gym to help you strengthen. Really, I think you said it's like your confidence in social situations. I think the distinction here needs to be for this to really show up in the market as something that is not for just networking and not for just dating or how to maybe pick someone up, if you will. It needs to be, how do you kind of really help build that skill set overall so that this person can be better in all areas?
It's comfort through being uncomfortable, I guess. It's like learning your body's response to anxiety with other people, because I know I've had that, and I know lots of people have that. And while the concept of going to a gym and being uncomfortable is hard to maybe like push myself to do, but I feel as though that might be a lower barrier to entry because there's less stakes. I mean, the whole point of the place is to put you in a situation where you can fail. You can be as awkward as you want to be in a conversation and maybe get some notes. I envision it as, you're talking to, let's just say, a group of actors who have been given specific instructions, and your goal is to just kind of make a friend, something as vague as that.
I need to stop you. So when you're picturing the gym, And
Yes.
now I'm like, oh, we might be opening a whole nother thing here. Are you picturing like an actual gym with actors in it, similar to the time we went to Planet Fitness or something like that, where you go into a gym and
Yeah.
are meeting with people while you're working out or just walking around? Or are you using the gym as a loose term? I need
Yes.
clarification on that.
I was using it more as a loose term. I was
Okay,
using it as
okay.
more of like a kind of general comparison to self-improvement in a different way,
Okay.
which includes trainers, which includes, let's say, resistance training, quote unquote. I envision it as you have sort of a dial and you can turn up how uncomfortable the situation might be that you're walking into. I don't
That's
know what
where
that looks like, but that's kind of what I'm thinking.
I'm following you. At first, for a second, I was like, wait, did I miss this whole thing?
No,
And are we actually
yeah.
talking about a gym where you meet people?
No.
So, okay, we're on the same page. But I think like the other thing that needs to be different about this idea is I really like the concept of it being physiological, like attached to either your heart rate, your sweating. I don't know if you can like measure
Yeah, totally.
that. Like I think that's like where it's at is like you can tell someone, hey, it's okay to be uncomfortable, or hey, that inner applause like I talked about. But I think there's something in like the seeing it or you seeing your metrics, and then also when you say turn it up or improvement, it's like you got to see that data almost to improve.
Let's just take the concept of an actor,
Okay.
saying, let's say, the harder the resistance level is, whatever it is, the more resistant they are to talk to you, or maybe
Right.
their answers are very short or something like that. And,
Okay. Okay.
that's kind of what I was thinking. Sometimes it's more difficult. Maybe it's loud or whatever. Right. So
What?
yeah, exactly. And that can be very hard to deal with, and you don't exactly know what to do. And, I just know I know a lot of people struggle with that. And so I think, having different methods and different approaches that have, that are either scientifically proven or like a personal trainer that in a lot of ways they use their own discretion based on what your needs are. Yeah, I think there's definitely tiers that you could take this approach, and how far into it you want to get scientifically with the electrodes and the heart rate monitor and things like that. And back to the top of the show when I said, it's a gym for introverts. It's a gym for anyone who wants to improve that. But I know that introverted people struggle with this a lot more.
I like the idea. I think the barriers are, it needs to not necessarily be like, oh, this is going to help you advance in your career, or this is going to help you pick up the girl. It needs to really look at kind of that confidence in a social setting. And I think have some fun marketing with it that makes it feel more approachable. Maybe kind of like at Planet Fitness, where it's like, this is for everyone, and we have a lunk alarm if you're getting too crazy.
Yeah.
We want you to be comfortable. Shout out Planet Fitness now too. But I think like that's the trick is like the marketing.
Totally.
And I think we've talked about a lot of different ways you could do this. I think you could have yourself a business here.
Maybe to wrap up a few points, I would say if you were to take this idea, some of the issues that I would hope that you would try to address, or that I would see first, is location is obviously going to be a big concern, and having the space physically. How big it is would depend on the size of the operation. So that would be my first question. My second barrier, I would say the most important thing would be to hire the right staff, because you're really relying on their ability to, and their expertise to train people to be good at this. And there's a lot of delicacy that would go on with a situation like that. So
I like it. So when you do take this idea and you become a millionaire, we'll see you on that yacht. Remember to call Nicole and Marc, and cheers to that.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on House Business.
Hey, now feels like a great time to mention that this podcast is produced by My4 Creative.
Couldn't think of a better time than now.
They work with businesses and organizations on all their video marketing needs, and they make it a super simple process.
I hear they're doing podcasts now. Is that true?
It is. New this year, they are offering podcast production, which is super exciting.
And believe me when I say, they make you look and sound your absolute best.
We look awesome. Learn more at my4creative.com. My4 Creative, video production simplified. Now, back to business. as always, we really want to hear everyone's feedback. So please make sure you're making comments. Feel free to shoot us a DM on our Instagram, House Business Podcast. But some of the feedback we've gotten so far. So I got a really interesting one, Mark.
Okay.
I had someone tell me that they hated my straightener idea.
Really?
So, yeah. So if you remember the episode 2, it's going to be a hot one. I talked about the concept of a straightener. And the feedback was that they said they listened to the episode. They thought it was a terrible concept.
Wow.
But here's the kicker. They're like, I literally thought about it all day long. I thought about like why I was upset all day long. And then it made me realize like, okay, like it made me think of other ideas and it got their mind working. I will say this was a male. So someone that's not using a straightener. So maybe not as important to them. But the feedback ended up being in turn really positive. Like, hey, I thought of other types of business ideas all day long because of this concept you brought up. So I'll take it. I'll take it.
Not everybody's going to like every idea. And that's,
that's
what we're totally fine with that, with the hate mail too. You know, if you don't like the idea, don't hate on us. We're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hey, that's part of why we're doing it. Is the broad question that we're asking every episode is this a good idea?
Yep.
You know, and sometimes there's legs to it. And sometimes there's just a bunch of kind of minds to walk into. And but hey, great feedback anyways. I'll take it.
The other feedback piece that we've gotten, people love the shout outs. So if you would like to
shout outs, okay?
shout outs. The shout outs will keep coming. And if you'd like to sponsor this podcast, there's always opportunities to be part of a shout out. So
and I'll put your logo anywhere on my closet wall that you pay for. The bigger ones are going to be more expensive. The smaller ones are going to be a little less expensive. But lots of advertising space still available.
And as always, you can find us on, we are on YouTube, on Spotify, and we're on Apple Podcasts, which is very exciting. And I do have a funny story for you, Mark, while you were gone. Yeah. I tried creating us a TikTok account to put some of our fun videos similar to that we post on Instagram. And when I was making this TikTok account, it asked for my birthday. I was like, okay, House Business Podcast. I thought I was being cute, and we started this on May 15th. And so I put in 2022, like when we met. I was like, oh, this is great. TikTok now thinks House Business is a baby.
Oh my!
I guess we are. But I'm now banned on TikTok and trying to argue that I am not 4 years old, which I don't even know why they would let a 4-year-old on TikTok. But
that's great.
TikTok account hopefully coming soon, so you can see some of these fun snippets if we ever get the restriction lifted. Thinks we're a baby, but for now, you can find us on Instagram at House Business Podcast and see our fun clips there and share with all your friends. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
This right here feel like money. This right here feel like money. Ooh. Money moves. Ooh. Money moves. Ooh. This right here.